I was invited by the Ridge Amateur Radio Club to participate in this year's field day. The location was perfect, with a pleasant drive down a tree-lined road gives way to a beautiful lake view. It wasn't until later that I realized the crucial role the house on the property would play.
If you play this one, you need to do it in the, whether you do that fast motion, or it looks like this took about 6.5 minutes.
What are we doing?
Well, we've got an off-center bed run under a fan dipole, but we're getting a little bit of interference, so we lowered the off-center bed down a little bit, see if we got enough spacing to not get interference from the fan dipole station. We're going to test that out before we deploy a different antenna.
Whiskey 4, Romeo, Romeo, Charlie.
Whiskey 4, Romeo.
Whiskey 4, Romeo, Romeo, Charlie.
Whiskey 4, Romeo, Romeo, Charlie. Please copy 2 Alpha, Montana.
Good copy, 2 Alpha, Montana. We are 3 Alpha, South Carolina, Sugar Charlie. QSL? 73. Got one in the log.
I'm sure you'll notice the heat and humidity was really starting to crank up here in the Midlands as we got up to 94, feeling more like 102 through much of the afternoon. And it's only going to get even hotter and more humid over the coming days.
That's when I knew the importance of the house.
It takes 54 volt DC to run, okay? And that's the biggest problem is 54 volts. So there's a guy that makes a board called a Dishy Dooley that's a DC boost converter. So it takes 12 volts in, boosts it up to 54 volts. So there's one of those buried in there, which allows me to put a 12 volt power supply in it. And so when you plug it up to 120, 12 volt power supply comes on, powers the Dishy Dooley. Inside there, there's also a 9 amp hour battery, so it can run off the battery alone for a couple of hours. Or it's got Anderson power poles in the side of it. You can shove DC off of alligator clips off a car battery. But it's a microtik router. If you know anything about microtiks, you can do everything in that router. Everything from file servers to BGP routing, VPNs, the whole 9 yards. So it's got Wi-Fi in here, but on the side of the box, I've got ports for single mode fiber. I've got a port for the dish, and then I've got a port for just a regular old PoE access point. The beauty behind the PoE access point is that's got the same SSID. This automatically dials up a VPN to the house, so all of my devices in the camper have a connection back to the house. So all of my media servers, NASs, any resource I have at the house is native in the camper. Cool. So this kit goes along with the Starlink kit and has a set of point-to-point radios. Has multiple power over Ethernet network switches, some that are capable of direct connect with fiber, some that are not. Has 600 foot of fiber on a reel, and then has 500 foot sections of fiber that can be added to it or used for other purposes. PTZ camera, mounting bracket for it, a couple of access points that can be deployed along with it. Multiple media converters for extending the network if you needed to use the fiber, and then 120 volt power. So the idea behind this is you can basically build a pretty small but robust network out of this box, along with the router that's in the other kit.
Whiskey 4, Romeo, Romeo, Charlie. I need
All right, well, like I said, I'm Matthew Crook, W1MRC, Vice President of the Ridge Amateur Radio Club, and currently Assistant Section Manager for South Carolina, ARRL. Will be Section Manager starting July 1 of this year. And this is the Ridge Amateur Radio Club Field Day. Welcome to Field Day. We are actually wrapping up Sunday morning now. Right now we are at about 236 contacts. I believe we have about 206 voice and 30 PSK contacts. We had a ham doing PSK for the first time this year. We ran several antennas. I had the DX Commander set up on one side of the house. We had an off-center fed and a fan dipole on a portable tower that was about 50 feet up, and a dual band vertical, like a Diamond X50 on top of the tower as well. We had a selection of radios. Yaesu FT710 was one of our stations. We had a Yaesu FT991 and a Yaesu FT450, and then we had a older club radio, a Kenwood TS140 radio, and then a Kenwood TMV71 for the 2-meter 440. The best thing I would say is, like, the portable tower is a phenomenal help. We do have some trees we can use, but just having the tower for that center point. We did run into a little interference with the off-center fed from the fan dipole, so we ended up spacing it a little bit, using some bandpass filters that our club treasurer and repeater trustee had put together some bandpass filter kits earlier this year, and I think those helped a lot. Then, like I say, just having the vertical set up on the opposite side of the house helped. I'd say next year we might run another off-center fed, just kind of as far away as we can, staying within our 1,000 yards, just kind of at the other end. Maybe we just bring a little extra coax. And then digital, like I said, we didn't really do much digital other than the PSK. I started to attempt a little bit of FT8, but the software I was using wouldn't let me convert the message for Field Day, so I ended up scrapping that. So next year, that was the SDR control for my ICOM. I like that, but I'm going to have to just get the regular software going next year. I'll test it out between now and then. Just like I said, I know we had a great Field Day. I think we probably had 25 to 30 people come out, between members and visitors. And like I said, I know Gordon, PIO for South Carolina ARRL, came out, so just a real good crowd. And looking forward to Winter Field Day and next year's ARRL Field Day.